Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Defence Headquarters concludes investigation into the bombing of an IDP camp in Borno State, says airstrike was a mistake. House of Representatives Committee vows to carry out thorough probe of the 13 billion naira cash recovered from an apartment in Ikoyi, Lagos. Police promises adequate security as voters in Nigeria's commercial hub, Lagos, set to choose their local government chairman and councillors tomorrow. And White House spokesman Sean Spicer resigns as President Trump appoints replacement. Remember now that for more on our top stories and others, please visit our website, channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. And log on to m.channelstv.com to watch us on your mobile device, or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. The Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You'll also have access to the Eyewitness feature, with which you can share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. Let's take a look at some of those pictures we have for the day. And our first one is from Apapa here in Lagos State, showing an illegal dump site, which our Eyewitness reporter says has been left uncleared for weeks. And he's pleading with the state government to do something fast. Still on illegal dump sites is this image from the GSM Plaza on Lagos Island. Our Eyewitness reporter is concerned as it has become a health hazard to the people living there. The next picture is from Judiciary Road, Awka in Anambra State, showing the effect of erosion. Our Eyewitness reporter says this is life-threatening and he wants the state government to do something quickly. And coming to the issue of floods, there's a picture which our Eyewitness reporter sent in from Maburu in Ogun State. And he says that it's as a result of the bad road and poor drainage and wants it fixed as soon as possible. Let's end with this picture from Kajola in Lagos State, which shows heaps of sand waiting to be cleared. According to our Eyewitness reporter, the sand was dug up by officials of an electricity distribution company and left there for 8 months. He's requesting the state government to look into it. Thanks for all your pictures and do keep them coming. Diarrhea-related deaths among under-5s have reduced by 60% across Nigeria, and that's according to the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency. The agency is meeting with development partners to review an initiative that promotes the use of zinc for treatment of diarrhea in children. The agency's Director of Administration, Mrs. Aisha Abubakar, explains that the intervention can prevent 90% of diarrhea-related deaths.
According to the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, as of 2013, diarrhea accounts for approximately 100,000 deaths among children under 5 years of age. However, the federal government in 2014 started an initiative that encourages the use of zinc for the treatment of diarrhea among children.
We'll round up today's meeting with a lunch and then...
This meeting with donor agencies and state primary healthcare agencies provides an opportunity to review the successes and failures of the initiative.
The new leadership has 3 cardinal goals. Consolidation of our routine immunization, and most importantly, PSC revitalization. So he is very focused, very passionate and very committed to ensuring that efficient and effective primary health services is extended to all Nigerians wherever they may be.
Approximately 40% of the total diarrhea burden in Nigeria rests on the shoulders of 8 states, including Bauchi, Kaduna, Kano and Katsina. However, the intervention is making impact on these states.
In those 8 states where we implemented, we've had more than a 30% point increase in the number of mothers now that are given their children zinc ORS for treatment. So, and this has contributed to a remarkable decrease in the number of deaths from diarrhea.
The taking of zinc by children when they get diarrhea for 10 days give them some degree of immunity against diarrhea for the next 3 to 6 months. So to some extent, the frequency of diarrhea has reduced. Yes.
60% reduction in diarrhea-related death among children is no doubt a remarkable success. But these experts hope that this success will be sustained going forward.
The United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed is calling for improved investment in issues that affect women. She's asking the government to upscale its intervention towards upholding the rights of women, especially those affected by conflict.
From the economy to stability and peace, we're not able to achieve our goals if we're only investing in half of the population. It is a nation and a continent's greatest asset, the human resource. And for that, women are often half of it, but lack the investments that we need. And these days, we're facing different complexities. The context is different. It's not just a question of abject poverty. It's not just a question of those that are out of school or the maternal mortality rates that are so high. It is that the context that we are living in is that of conflict, extremism that is within many of our countries, and in particular Nigeria. So here, what we really want to do is to hear and bring the messages of women in decision-making, women who bear the brunt and carry the burden of many of the tragedies that we see, to see how we can come out of this, how we can be a constructive partner in finding the solutions to sustainable development.
The anti-kidnapping unit of the Enugu State Police Command has arrested 3 secondary school students for allegedly faking their own kidnap. According to a statement from the state's police public relations officer, Ebere Amazuru, the boys, who were said to have been kidnapped by unknown gunmen on July the 14th, were nabbed by the operatives at their hideout in Enugu. Since their disappearance, the boys have been demanding the sum of 500,000 naira as ransom from their parents. The police said the suspects are helping them in their investigations and will face the law if found guilty. And the Nigerian military's joint task force, Operation Delta Safe, has foiled an attack by men suspected to be Niger Delta militants. The deputy commander of the JTF, Brigadier General Kelvin Aligbe, says his men engaged the suspected militants in a gun battle in which a civilian member of the JTF crew was killed alongside the suspects. He explained that 4 soldiers who sustained injuries in the attack are currently receiving medical treatment in Port Harcourt.
In order to arrest the perpetrators of this heinous crime, troops are trailing the criminals who fled into some communities after the crime. It is important to state that the communities must not condone or harbor these criminals. Therefore, they are kindly obliged to reveal the identities of these criminals, as they will be smoked out from their hideouts for them to face justice. The bandits were repelled by gallant troops and they suffered heavy casualties while a few of them ran into the adjoining creek. Effort is still ongoing to fish them out and ascertain the actual number of the criminals killed during the duel. Unfortunately, 4 soldiers were injured while 1 civilian worker on the houseboat died from gunshots wounds. Let me reiterate that this operation will do everything within the law to crack down on these criminals and their sponsors wherever they may be.
Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Ibrahim Adra. Ibrahim.
Hello, Ijoma. Now, let's begin from Rivers State, where public basic schools there appear set to get a facelift as Rivers State government begins to implement counter-funding arrangement of the universal basic education put in place by the federal government for the development of public schools. This comes as the state governor, Nyesom Wike, flagged up the reconstruction of 175 schools in the state, most of which have been in deplorable conditions. Our correspondent Emmanuel Ray reports.
State School Rebisi, located in Mile 2, Dio Port Harcourt, the River State capital, is a shadow of itself. With dilapidated buildings, deserted classrooms, broken roofs, leaving some areas partly flooded. The deplorable condition of the school makes one wonder how pupils are able to learn here. Sitting behind the popular Ikoku spare parts market, its location appears to make a bad situation worse, as it has become a den of criminals. According to Executive Chairman of the Universal Basic Education Board, all that is about to change.
We have over 70% of these schools in crass, dilapidated conditions. And so here the governor comes on board to say, I do not want to build new schools. Let us fix the old schools. And you can see the state of these schools. And it's like this, and even in worse conditions across River State than the rural areas.
Then under the morning rain, the state governor and his team arrived for the official flag-off of the reconstruction of the school and 174 others across the state.
When we came on board, we saw that the state had not assessed our grant from the Universal Basic Education Authority. And so I directed the chairman to see that we pay our own counterpart fund to be able to assess that of the federal government. And I said, you must go to all the local governments, identify those schools that are in very bad condition. Those who will renovate, those who will reconstruct, and then provide them with desks for children to use.
The governor also leaves a word for those who use the premises for criminal activities.
Now we have taken over our property. Don't enter here again. This is a place where children will use for learning.
As the state governor symbolically hits the wooden windows as a mark of the work to be done, with a promise to fence off the spare part market, many expect to see these public schools become more conducive for learning in the coming months. Emmanuel Iri, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, education is top on the list of critical areas of human growth and socio-economic development that the Kogi State government is focusing on. Governor Yahaya Bello reconfirmed this during a visit to the Kogi State University, where he said no stone will be left unturned to revamp the sector.
This visit of Governor Yahaya Bello to the Kogi State University is expected to be a major step towards resolving the industrial action that has plagued this citadel of learning in the last 7 months. Members of the academics, traditional leaders, students, lecturers, top government functionaries and members of the governing council also joined to prefer solutions to the lingering crisis. The Vice-Chancellor, Mohammed Abdul Kadir, in his opening speech, highlights some critical challenges facing the university community.
They should include constant interaction between government and the unions and effective follow-up to a gender mutual partnership. We are optimistic that given the efforts of His Excellency and what is going to happen today, inshallah, the strike by academic staff university will soon be a history.
The governor promises to settle all outstanding salaries and arrears before the end of this month. This he did while lamenting the high level of infrastructural decay in the university.
Today you compute the remaining salaries, the arrears of those that will be cleared. Whether you're on sabbatical, or you are on part-time, or you are on contracts. For peace to reign, we'll pay you.
Now that the state government has banned the activities of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, it is believed in many quarters that the university will now be able to run their academic sessions hitch-free.
And coming up in our business news segment, development finance expert highlights infrastructural projects to drive multi-billion-dollar investment for Nigeria. To join us again.